Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics. First, the highlights. Suspended Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele's arraignment stalled again. Sokoto State Governor charges new commissioners on task ahead to put Sokoto State back on the track of progress and development. Plus, more reactions continue to trail President Tinubu's cabinet. Welcome to the program. I'm Millicent Walker in Lagos. We begin in the courtroom where the expected arraignment of the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria was again stalled as the matter was not listed on the cause list of the court. No reason was given for the non-listing as lawyers to both parties were absent in court. The suspended CBN governor was charged alongside Zadatu Yaro, an employee of the Apex Bank and her company, April 1616 Investment Limited, on 20 charges bordering on procurement fraud, conspiracy and conferring corrupt advantages. An Abuja High Court presided over by Justice Hamza Muazu had fixed the 23rd of August 2023 for the arraignment of the suspended governor of the Central Bank and his co-accused, the employee of the Central Bank of Nigeria, following the absence of the second defendant, who is said to have taken ill just before the arraignment on Thursday, the 17th of August 2023. And just yesterday, more ministers reported for duty in the nation's capital, promising to deliver on their mandate to ensure that President Bola Tinubu fulfills his campaign promises. Let's take a look.
24 hours after taking their oath of office, more ministers are reporting to their designated officers. Upon assumption of office, the ministers speak on their mandate as members of the Federal Executive Council.
We will even find mechanisms of lowering the cost of monitoring and evaluation. Technology can be used. We will involve stakeholders. If a road project is taking place in a location, there are many ways you can involve those people located in those places to participate in monitoring and evaluation.
My modus operandi is results. I really don't care how you get me the results as long as you use legitimate things to get the results.
Former Yobe State Governor assumes office at the Ministry of Police Affairs. He also met with the staff of the ministry and charged them to embrace innovations to drive police ecosystems.
I encourage each one of you to embrace innovation, to think creatively, and to propose ideas that will enable us to adapt and evolve in this ever-changing landscape.
Staying with security, two former governors are assuming office at the Ministry of Defense. Former Governor of Jigawa State, Mr. Muhammad Abubakar, promises remarkable changes in the security situation of the country.
We have to deliver for our people. We have to deliver for the country. And have the promise today with all of you that within a year or so, we will have remarkable change in the security architecture of this country.
The tasks before the ministers are also acknowledged when the Minister of Education and his counterpart in the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology assumed office in their separate ministries.
I will offer strong guidance on the following key principles. Strong collaboration between the ministry and the agencies is vital. Let's unite and work together for shared objectives through effective communication.
We are going to focus on what will bring change, fundamental change to the society, so that by the next 1 year, people can see that we have policies on ground that is meant to disrupt somehow some of the things have done that have not been either not done well or need rejigging, because society is in a constant state of flux.
The former Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Mr. Festus Keyamo, used his first day in office to defend the president's decision to assign him to the Ministry of Aviation.
The president did not send me here by mistake. I think he has clear ideas as to why he sent me here. And I will need your maximum cooperation. Everything I do has always been, with the aim of satisfying the people first.
Former federal lawmaker Mr. John Eno reported for duty as the Minister of Sports. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, also assumed duty at the ministry, where he unveiled his vision to rightly place Nigeria at the regional and global diplomatic pinnacle. Meanwhile, the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Gas, Honorable Ekwe, says gas to power, gas to industry and gas for export are priority areas that will be pursued aggressively.
Today in Nigeria, because of dependence on the other sources of power, we don't have regular power supply. But with gas, which is cheap and readily available, the reserve that we are having today will last us for so many hundreds of years.
The minister, like his colleagues, thanked the president for the opportunity to serve in his capacity, but the country and her citizens will be looking to see how their service translates to a better life and a better economy.
Meanwhile, some criticisms are trailing the president's cabinet. The People's Democratic Party's Ogun State governorship aspirant in the 2023 election, Mr. Segun Shomi, said that the administration of President Tinubu has not considered the feelings of Nigerians in the face of current economic realities. He told journalists in Abuja that a much smaller size of cabinet would have been appropriate.
To call the ministerial lineup dismal, elephantine, and imprudent is putting it mildly. It is clear that this government wishes to adopt a rigged strategy, not in poker, but in the bragging that tries to mask crass ill-preparedness, flip-flopping around issues, and deep psychopathic I don't care attitude. Can a nation be in dire straits and those who created the financial and governance mess, the APC, be shoving it in our faces as though we have become a captured nation with no way out of the slavery of helplessness? The APC government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is pretending as if the last 8 years of misery is not that of a government of APC where he carried the appellation of national leader. Is he going to step away? Would Nigerians allow him to step away from the mess that his government that he was a part of created? And he made it even much more difficult by now bringing too many of the former governors, too many of the former players who had one thing or the other to do with the policy direction of the last 8 years, as though Nigeria does not have people, fresh young ideas, lean government, people that are a little bit more spontaneous, and a cabinet structure that tries to react to the Arraignment report that has been sitting on their desk, saying that you need to make government leaner. And that's what I said, and I say boldly that an Atiku Okowa cabinet would have been fit for purpose, would have been leaner, and certainly would have been more equitable.
More reactions also coming from a coalition of civil society organizations under the aegis Speak Out Africa. They're asking the ministers to publicly declare a stop to their pensions in their states, as they cannot be collecting salaries and pensions at the same time from government. Apart from the declaration of assets, the group is also asking them that the president rather make public his blueprint for reducing the cost of governance.
We urge the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to review, streamline, and marshal out in practical government templates, in practical terms, government template of cutting down cost of governance. We want to see a template. We want to see in specific terms. Are ministers allowed to be taking private jets? How many AAs, SAs should a minister have? We need to have that in clear terms. In terms of escorts traveling outside the country, how many A's should a minister travel out with? So these are things we are asking this present administration to stop keeping Nigeria in the dark. We called for merging. That is implementing the media people that were here, implementing the Onosoya reports. We called on Mr. President to take a bold step. Because it will take one person to do it. People have been shying away. The fear of losing job, the fear of so many things. We are aware a lot of agencies replicate things. The VIO, for example, VIO and road safety. It will be difficult. What is the difference? ICPC and EFCC. And a number of them, there are so many of them. Why we are aware that the political office holder to take the big chunk because everything stops at their table. We don't want to also ignore the civil service where a lot, the main work needs to actually be done.
Elsewhere, the president has been praised for the creation of the Ministry of Maritime and Blue Economy, set to be a sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, improved livelihoods and overall ocean health. Economic analysts say the blue economy sector holds immense potential for the economic development, job creation and providing livelihoods to coastal communities. Honorable Henry Ezediaro is a special assistant to the Imo State Governor on Marine Transport. He joins us now on the program. Thank you for joining us. First, are you excited and optimistic about the potential of the maritime and blue economy sector?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Good afternoon, viewers. I want to say that was a very smart one from Mr. President, because our maritime sector is a very, very important sector of our economy, and I thank him for creating that particular ministry.
Economic analysts say that, that economy holds immense potential for economic development. But do you think that, do we have a full grasp of the concept and the importance of the role?
Yeah, I think being a new ministry, it will gradually need time to pick up. But the innovation, the creation, is a wonderful one, because it will further extend the democracy to the people who are living on those regions, and also the necessary things the ministry also have to be given to them. But in a whole, I feel it's a very wonderful innovation by Mr. President.
How would you set the agenda for that ministry, in terms of the industry's role in the national economy? A senior advocate of Nigeria, Olise Gbakoba, while commending the president for yielding the long-awaited policy advocacy projects, that, government can actually drive revenue to the tune of 7 trillion collection from the maritime sector.
No, I think that our senior brother Abakoba said is not a bad thing. But however, the main intention, I think, for Mr. President to have created that ministry is to further allow democracy to trickle further down to the areas that need attention. Especially, for example, in the area where I come from, Uguta, our governor seems he saw future. He has already keyed in by getting approval from the federal government for the dredging of the Uguta Lake. And as we speak, the naval base is already there. So it's as if the mindset of the governor of Imo State and that of Mr. President Tinubu is working together. Because you can see already Imo have been positioned to enjoy from the benefits of that particular ministry.
And it's a good thing you mentioned Imo politics. Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party says that Labour will win in Imo as they did in Abia.
Yes, it is not wrong for people to be my brother to wish so, but with what the governor have done in Imo today, it is very, very difficult for any party to unseat him. I just gave an instance with what is going on in Uguta. You can see, as we speak, the naval base is already there, which is an indication that the dredging and the channelization of the Uguta Lake is real. You understand? The security, the economy of that particular region, Uguta, where I come from, have been beefed up. And you cannot tell me that in this election, that anybody in Uguta who understands what is going on, who supports democracy, will vote for anybody else apart from Governor Opozadema.
But is that the highest thing? Is that the most distinct thing that the governor has done for the Imo people?
No, I'm talking as it has to do with Uguta. But however, on the area of infrastructure, anybody who is in Imo today will tell you that the governor have improved the infrastructural road architecture of Imo. So many road projects going on here and there. There are too many to mention, but I can mention the Olo Owerri Road, the Okigwe Owerri Road. As we speak, the Mbise Owerri Road to Abia State is ongoing. And these are very, very long roads going over 30, 40 kilometers. Duaka Range with drains. So, too many internal roads. Even in Uguta, where I come from, there are bridges completed. The roads from Mburi to Uguta is also ongoing. So anybody from Imo today will tell you that the governor have done well in terms of road, in terms of payment of salaries and pensions. You understand? And these are what a listening government is supposed to be doing. Right. The man is working as if somebody is seeing the future.
We need to go on a short break now, but one question before we let you go, and that question is, has the governor, Hope Uzodinma, made up with the former governor, Rochas Okorocha?
Yes, in so many ways he has done that. For example, the Office of Marine Transport is a new creation, and the governor graciously created that office to further send democracy to the nook and crannies of the people. And there are so many other things he has done in terms of creation of insecurity. The sort of creation of security in Imo State, because the insecurity we have in Imo was artificially produced by the opposition. But by the grace of God, the governor and the other security agencies have been able to reduce it today in Imo.
The question I asked is if they've settled their differences, the present governor and the former governor.
The question for if they have settled their differences, that question is best for both of them to answer, because I don't know. Both of them have never come to tell me before that they have any indifferences. So that question will be best addressed to them directly if they do have any differences, because they've never come to tell me before that they have any differences.
All right, Honourable. We'll leave it at that. We'd like to thank you, Honourable Henry Ezediaro, Special Assistant to the Imo State Governor on Marine Transport. Thanks for joining us on Lunchtime Politics.
Thank you.
Still to come, YPP accuses Ekiti State Government of politicising palliative distribution. We have that story when we return. Welcome back. Let's go now to the Ministry of Defense, where the Minister, Mohammed Abubakar, and the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, have promised remarkable changes in Nigeria's security architecture within 1 year. how optimistic with the security challenges bedeviling the country. A security expert, Mr. Kingsley Uzoma, joins us now on the program from our Abuja studios. Glad to have you. There will be remarkable changes for the better in the country's security situation. That's the assurance from, the Minister of State and the Minister of Defense. What do you think both men have in mind?
Yes, thanks for having me. We are glad that we now have the office of the Minister of Defense being occupied by two able men, the Minister of Defense and the Minister of State. For some time now, we know that the Nigerian Defense Ministry, they have a lot of challenges participating from internal security away from defense of our territorial borders, which is the mandate of the defense. The assurance coming from the minister and giving a timeline to achieve a given milestone is quite commendable. And I hope that if things are put in place, they should be able to fill in the gaps that exist not just internally among the military, but also across other sister security agencies, in the sense that the Ministry of Defense also need to work hand in hand with the counterparts in the police affairs to make sure that we have a well-blended security and defense for the nation. Don't also forget, it is at a time that there is issue in one of the ECOWAS nations, that's Niger to be precise, and the ministry will also do a lot in terms of diplomacy and the regional politics that has to do with it.
Mr. Uzoma, we've also seen in the past friction between these agencies, but the ministry has said it will spare no effort in building strong defense structure capable of handling any threat. But essentially, where would you want them to start from? Because there's so many things to look at. There's the issue of welfare. There's so many areas.
Okay, yes, beyond the rhetorics of mere political statements, I think the minister need to have a working document. If he has a working document based on report that has been analyzed, maybe haven't done a SWOT analysis, that's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of the ministry, he should be able to coordinate himself in line with the timeline given. Welfare is issues. The officers and personnel of the military, they need welfare. They need to be encouraged. Their morale need to be boosted, and there should be adequate insurance for the personnel. Okay, then the non-combatant team, the administrative staff, they need to make sure that they are well taken care of. Then you look at the logistics and the equipment generally of the ministry to make sure that it's not only procurement, because most of the problem we're having in the nation is that it's one thing for them to procure equipment, gadgets, from vehicles to military gears. For the military is also another for them to know how to maintain these gadgets. We have a problem of maintenance culture. If you tour around the ministry, you know that there are a lot that are maybe mechanical gears, technical equipment that were procured, but no adequate persons trained in the area of maintenance. If we can pay good attention, quality attention in terms of maintenance, the ministry will go a long way in not only saving, but also utilizing its resources elsewhere that need their urgent attention. And then for the ministry to also do well, yes.
Sorry to interrupt, but I was going to say that, transparency, you would agree, is very important because, this is one sector that receives a huge chunk of the national budget, yet many have decried that there's nothing to show for it.
Yes, transparency is very, very important, but in terms of security, in the field of security, you do not expect everything to be transparent in terms of procurement. But within, internally, there should be some high level of transparency, especially in the area of procurement, so that they can be able to bring in expertise, advice, those who have the technical know-how to make sure that equipment being procured abroad to support the military are devoid of bugging devices, and that those who are to utilize them has the requisite knowledge to maintain them, and there is also some degree of technology transfer. And given the fact that the military are now involved on internal security, there is need for the ministry, for the minister to extend good handshake with his counterpart in the police affairs.
We'd like to appreciate your time, security expert, Mr. Kingsley Uzoma. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Now we head to Sokoto State, where the governor, Emefiele, has called on the newly appointed commissioners there in the state to embrace hard work and be ready to adhere to the principle of due process and dedication to service. Governor Liu made the call shortly after swearing in 25 appointed commissioners at a ceremony attended by party leaders, other stakeholders, and a large number of party supporters.
The task therefore before us is both doubting and challenging. I'm however sure that we shall inshallah be able to overcome these challenges in view of the caliber of persons selected to handle various aspects of the state administration. You must put in record, you must put in your minds that the present administration is a rescue mission. The electorate expects a lot from us. They want to see the difference in improvement we can bring to the state in particular. I charge you to exhibit the virtue of loyalty, diligence, good governance, sacrifice, and productivity. Let us gently work against disloyalty, indolence, laziness, and unproductiveness.
And in Lagos, the Inspector General of Police acting, Kaide Betokun, is in Lagos State, the Lagos Police Command. He will be addressing police officers and men of the command on adhering to strict conduct and the fight against crime in the state. Well, during this maiden visit, the police boss will also launch the Complaints Response Unit, CRU, and the newly built State of Heart Hospital in Oduduwa, that's in Ikeja, Lagos. We have quite a number of dignitaries who are present at that event that is ongoing. Well, you've been served lunchtime. At lunchtime, lunch. Thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Walker. Bye for now.